How's it going, everyone? Cole here with a quick tip regarding the Windows terminal that I think that you will find to be really cool. So as you can see here, I've got the terminal split up into different tabs. So this is one of the features of the new Windows terminal that you can utilize, where you can split your terminal into different tabs. So you do that by hitting the plus icon here. So this works great because if I want to set a specific tab to a certain task, I can do that like this. So as an example, this first tab, I do like to code in the terminal, so I would designate this first tab as my code editor tab, okay? And then for the second tab, let's say I want to maintain source control. I could name this one Git. And then for the third one, let's say I've got a Python project where I want to manage dependencies. I could simply name this one virtual environment, or VENV for short. Now this is great, but there's one minor issue with this. And that minor issue is that each of these tabs are isolated. So whichever one you click on is the one that you're focused on. Now you might ask yourself, well, Cole, what's the issue with that? If you're staying focused, then you're staying focused. It's only one thing at a time, right? Yes, it works, but there is a better solution for this. So to give you an example, let's say that I want to be able to go directly to my virtual environment, or even see my virtual environment the same time that I am working in my code editor. How would you do that? How do you solve this problem in the Windows terminal? Well, let's get rid of these. So the cool thing about the Windows terminal is you can now split your terminal into different panes, so it's all in one workspace. And how you do this is you hold down Alt, Shift, plus, and bam, you've got a vertical pane, okay? And if you want to do a horizontal pane, you just do the opposite of that. Do Alt, Shift, minus, and there is your horizontal pane. How cool is that? Now you've got everything in one workspace. And if you want to change the sizing of these panes, you just hold down Alt Shift and use the arrow keys. So if I want to make it bigger, I just do that. If I want to make my code editor workspace smaller or bigger, you just use your arrow keys. And if you want to jump in between these different panes, you just hold down the Alt key and then use your arrow keys to navigate. So let's see this in action to give you a visual of what I'm talking about. So again, I've got my code editor over here in this left area. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, GitHub, projects, test project. There's my virtual environment and my .py file. So open up the Helix editor, and now I want to go over to my source control pane. So I would do the same thing here. Test project, and let's say I want to, well, what's the status? What's the Git status of my project? Bam, there you go. And then for the last one, for giggles, we just go into the same directory, and then we say venv scripts activate, and there we are. So now I've got a dedicated pane for my virtual environment, a dedicated pane for source control, Git, and then a dedicated pane for my code editor. How cool is that? And I know it's not quite Tmux, but it's honest work.